high thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil. By that heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow laden, if within the distant Aiden it shall clasp a sainted maiden whom the angels name Lenore. Clasp a rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that word our sign of parting, bird or fiend, I shrieked upstarting, get thee back into the tempest and the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie thy soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken, quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out my heart and take thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven, nevermore.
Welcome everyone to the 2015 31 Nights of Fright, the month-long event celebrating all things horror and Halloween. This year we will be exploring the history of ghost films throughout the years, and to better understand the cinematic phantom, we must travel all the way back to the early roots of horror itself in order to properly explore ghosts. Our journey starts in 1764 with the introduction to the term horror, with one of the earliest horror stories and plays, The Castle of Otranto, written by Horace Walpole. Horace's novel was the first Gothic tale to feature supernatural elements with shock and awe that created mysterious drama for readers and the medium. The tale would even inspire future writers to take a stab at the medium, improving upon it and giving it their own creative spins. Such names as Mary Shelley and Edgar Allan Poe come to mind when we look at inspired fans of this work. Speaking of which, Poe would come next in the 1830s with his writings and works of fiction and mystery. Regarded as nothing more than an alcoholic and a fool, Poe's work would go on to have a legacy of its own that I dare would say not even Poe would envision himself. Poe took tragedy and used it as fuel for his creative work. The death of his beloved wife led to depictions of phantoms in his stories, with the most famous one being Lenore from his most famous work, The Raven. A great deal of his stories would go on to become adaptations such as Telltale Heart or The Mask of the Red Death. Years after his death, we would see other artists within the field of horror either adapting his work or using elements from it to create something new. If a specter or a phantom is being used in film, Poe is owed a great deal of thanks for inspiring the very concept of it due to his contributions. The turn of the century would begin to showcase film and early creature features, which range from golem monsters to literary horror monsters and creatures such as Frankenstein's monster or even ghosts. Join us next time as we continue exploring the early days of ghosts.
And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting, on the pallid busted palace just above my chamber door. And his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor. And my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore.